Hello. So I am Sarah, also known as Isek Sarah bint Abu Zachariah. I'm squire to Micah of Brighton Manor, and I've been doing some line training stuff, line sergeant stuff with the Northern Army. Somebody asked for a video showing battle tactics in action. I am not Kit or Tiernan, but I've read the files. Anybody can read the files, and these are sort of my thoughts on what I've read. So the scenario I've set up today is green versus silver. I'm assuming that the guys in front are shields and the guys in back are polearms, but they're not differentiated in any way. I'm assuming an open field, and I'm assuming no resurrections. So in a scenario like this, you essentially have three choices. You can either flank right, you can flank left, or you can go center. Most of the time, we're fighting mid, and mid really likes to bunch their people up in the center and have a nice, thick, dense center. So as an opening plan, going for the center doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So today I'm really just going to talk about either going left or going right. Now, we're going to be the silver team, and our opponents are going to be the green team, is how I'm going to do it today. So assume that today our plan was go right, okay? So we're trying to flank right. We've got our little pieces trying to flank right. There's two things that these guys, our green team, can have as their plan. They can either be trying to also flank right, so flanking on this side over here, or they can be trying to flank left, which is the same side we're trying to flank. The first thing I'm going to talk about is if they try and flank the opposite side as us, or the same side. So we make a little whirly gig going on, where they're trying to flank here and we're trying to flank there. Now, at this point is when you want to start having your people on this end refuse the flank, right? Because you don't want to get flanked. Assuming that neither side refuses, the team that's going to win is the team that's going to be faster at killing the other guys. Everything else equal. It's really a speed game at this point. If you start to refuse, though, if one side refuses and the other side doesn't, we're going to gobble them up over here. They're not going to gobble us up over here, and we win. If both sides refuse, though, that's when things start getting fun, right? Because both sides have refused. So all things being equal, we should be at a stalemate. Except this is kind of when mistakes happen. Like, these two guys are kind of clumped up over here. This guy is kind of over there. If this little triad right here decides to bust through right there, all of a sudden we've got an internal flank and we have options, right? And even though our initial plan of flanking didn't work, we're still in an advantageous situation once we choose to find that internal flank. Which is when, center as an option comes in, not as an initial salvo, but as something to be looking for as an opportunity as you go through. And that's really not the sort of thing that, like, Loki is the captain of the Unbelts or Kit or Tiernan can really say, we're going to look for an internal flank. Like, they kind of want to have a critical mass of line sergeants in the army at large. That way they have thinkers willing to make that call and say, let's do an internal flank right here. Like, I can think of some Unbelts off the top of my head that they see that, they're going to take advantage of that. Nobody needs to tell them to do that. And that's a good thing. We want that, right? Which is kind of like the point of PAL. They're not trying to train, privates how to obey orders. They're trying to train sergeants to call orders, right? Like, that's what we're doing there, is we're all trying to become better sergeants. So if silver team is trying to flank right and green team tries to flank left, what's going to happen here is one of two things. Either the team that flanks wider is the team that's going to successfully flank the other team, or alternatively, the team that finds the hole where the flank separates from the center the team that finds that hole and enters that hole ends up being the team that has an advantage. And so you can go either direction. It really depends on how fast your team is and whether you think you're faster than the other guys, is the way that I see that one playing out. It is a little bit, of a rumpus, and it could go either direction. But the other thing is, if these guys are all trying to flank over here, and it's not the plan to flank over here on either team, these guys are just kind of sitting here staring at each other. If this guy makes the call, no, let's flank, and starts flanking this side and bringing this side into action as well, it doesn't matter if this side ends up being taken out by Team Green, because we've got some, advantageous action happening over on this side. And then things get really dicey and really interesting and have a lot of fun. If you just stand there and stare at each other, it's just not fun. So make the call. So those are kind of the things that I've been thinking about with just left, right, and what sort of opportunities come up with left versus right, and what the other side can do and what you can do to take advantage of that. So.